Major League Baseball 2K11 is the sixth entry in a sports series that has seen more change-ups than a cleanup hitter with the bases loaded. Until now, that is. Feature-wise, 2K11 is nearly identical to last year's game, with a few tweaks, cosmetic changes, and roster updates. In some cases, the changes detract from the experience, while others have minimal impact on the gameplay. Is it worth stepping up to the plate this year?
Back to first. Swing and a ball hit high in the air, deep into right center field. And bye-bye, that's a two-run homer.
There are no new play modes in MLB 2K11, so your choices are identical to last year's game. Those who favor role-playing-like character progression in their sports games will enjoy My Player mode, which has you beginning a career in the minors and trying to build up your stats and abilities for a chance to be promoted to the bigs. Unfortunately, this mode comes up a bit short when compared to its competition. You aren't technically graded on your overall performance in a particular game, but rather on how well you complete specific goals, in ways that often fail to make sense. As a relief pitcher, for example, you might be asked to get a fly ball out. If you get a strikeout, you'll lose out on the bonus points, even though you've accomplished something arguably better. There's also a penalty for choosing your favorite team if it happens to be loaded with talent, since you'll have to work that much harder to replace someone with all-star caliber credentials.
That'll be off the green monster out there in left.
Where My Player mode suffers from a few missteps, MLB Today fires on all cylinders, provided you have an active Xbox Live subscription for real-time updates. Each day you play during the season, the game will automatically update the rosters, dynamic player ratings, stat overlays, and commentary to reflect the previous day's events. As a result, you'll feel more like an active participant in the season than you ever have. For those more interested in the franchise mode, there are still some problems to report. The good news is that you'll now experience injuries, which were conspicuously absent in last year's game. The bad news is that fatigue doesn't carry over from game to game, which takes away a big part of the management and strategy associated with running a ball club. Simulated stats, on the whole, are believable and don't seem to take into account the fatigue issue, so this problem is mainly for those who like to play each game.
Swung on a fly ball down the left field line.
Both the analog hitting and gesture-based pitching system are intact from last year's game with no noticeable changes. This is a good thing. For those who missed previous titles in the series, the pitching system requires a degree of finesse as you use the right analog stick to follow specific two-step motions for each pitch type. The hitting system is extremely simple to pick up, as you'll just have to flick the right stick to swing the bat, and you'll notice a nice variety of liners, grounders, and fly balls. If there is one fault in the pitching system, it's that the computer AI refuses to swing at anything outside the strike zone, even if the pitch is practically kissing the outside corners. Perhaps this was done to make the $1 million contest, where players attempt to be the first to pitch a perfect game, more challenging than an MLB 2K10. On the flip side, it does ratchet up the intensity of the batter-pitcher matchup, since you'll focus on executing perfect pitches.
Got him. That is strikeout number 12.
Defense now includes a horizontal throwing meter, which has you holding down a button until a line hits a green sweet spot, but tracking down fly balls is often pretty difficult. A large gray circle appears on the field to give you an indication of where a fly ball will land, but you also have to look for a small yellow circle within the area for the precise point to make the catch. This can be difficult to see on some camera angles.
Liner towards the gap in left field.
While the gameplay is mostly unchanged from last year, the computer AI plays a solid competitive game, though not without a few quirks here and there. Fielders occasionally make the wrong throws to bases, sometimes an unearned run is charged as earned, and the computer occasionally mismanages its bullpen. Situational awareness could certainly use some improvement. Computer athletes do make regular errors, however, which was something that didn't occur in 2K10.
And he made it. Safe at third.
New to MLB 2K11's presentation are revamped player models, but you'll be hard-pressed to note much improvement. There's more variety in body sizes, but only star players have recognizable faces, and even then, you'll sometimes wonder. Blank, expressionless stares, strange skin tones, and weird animations are distracting during close-up views. This is disappointing mainly because the rest of the presentation is very much on point. Once again, the commentary by Gary Thorne, Steve Phillips, and John Kruk surpasses most television broadcasts. Instead of using generic observations that could apply to anyone, they talk specifically about individual athletes, their past performances, and even their tendencies against the team they're playing against.
He has to throw strike one with that fastball, though, to make his secondary pitches effective. Hitters will chase if he gets ahead in the count.
In addition to the commentary, you'll also be treated to slick overlays, helpful stats that reflect the current situation, and colorful graphics of team and player performances. The commentary will change as the 2011 season progresses, keeping the game fresh as you participate in games from the MLB Today mode. The only weaknesses from this aspect of the game is the music variety, as the same songs keep repeating over the PA system. After making some progress with last year's game, the developers have more or less hit a plateau with 2K11. There's still some sloppiness, though the strengths of the MLB Today mode and the wonderful commentary will almost make you forgive some of the faults. Last year's biggest problems, the graphics and glitches, still plague this year's installment, which is a letdown for a series that seemed to be on the cusp of becoming something more than just an alternative to MLB The Show.
And Polanco gets to it.